Well, it's the Middletown. I'm still waiting for someone to answer the question that I challenged the world with last year, or the year before. Name one place in New Jersey that's being better run than Middletown, and no one seemed to be able to answer that question.
Yeah, there's a few other things about our budgeting process. We have been commended by the League of Municipalities. In fact, they include us in their handbook for elected officials as must reading for our budgeting process. So they've recognized that we do have a good system here. We have flawless audits every year. We have a AA bond rating. In fact, the Standard & Poor's and Moody's has pointed out that we have low debt, sound financial operations, and rapid debt amortization. So we're paying down debt faster than we're incurring new. We have over 5,000 acres of open space. And it's a very desirable area, and we really try and make it as livable as we can. We're 19% of the overall tax bill. So somebody who pays, let's just say $5,000 in taxes, $950.
Well, that's on the low end, probably.
It's on the low end, and then we have a range of housing, and there's some areas of town that pay, around $5,000. I'm just using that as an example. But out of that, $950 goes to the town. That pays for the police, the park system, the DPW, all of the services here. And again, we're in a very difficult economic climate statewide. And I hope we're at the precipice where we can look down and avoid the cliff. And I think with the governor at the helm and what we're doing here locally, we can weather this storm and come out all the better for it.
So in Middletown, the municipal operations, police, fire, I guess, is volunteer, right?
Fire is volunteer.
Police, administration, planning,
Department of Public Works.
Department of Public Works is 19%, and the parks.
Right.
Yeah. And then how much is the school and how much is the county?
The county is generally around 17%, and the school around 64%. And these percentages vary, by a percent or two. But the school is usually 2/3 of the tax bill, and we're about a fifth, and the county's a little less than a fifth.
Okay. Well, you talked about shared services, and one of the other things that's talked about a lot in terms of the future of New Jersey and reducing the size and cost of municipal government is mergers and consolidations.
Right.
Now, I don't know enough of the history of Middletown to know if it. But I don't think it was ever. I think towns have broken away from Middletown, or neighborhoods, if you will, have broken away from Middletown. Has there been any talk of people trying to get back into Middletown, or other towns trying to get back in?
Nothing seriously. I mean, it's a very difficult thing to do that, and it's always complicated because it's not like it was in 1850 where you just had a handshake agreement. All of a sudden, you were a part of a, you had voter approval, whatever it is. Now there's union considerations. Now there's liability. All of these things figure into any sort of merger that way. I think sharing services is probably the way to go because you get the best of both worlds. You get the cost savings without having to annex more geography. That would be more streets for us to plow, more streets for us to police and maintain. So it's a very difficult thing. But we have some good programs here in Middletown I think are really going to pay off in the coming years.
So it doesn't sound like it doesn't sound to me from your answer that you'd be anxious to bring, say, other Bayshore towns into the township. You'd be happy to share service with them when you could.
Right.
But whereas they may want to merge with each other or merge into Middletown. Middletown say, well, what's in it for us? It might not be so good for.
Right. I don't think I'd want to geographically annex another town. But I think sharing services would be what I'm very interested in. And as I said before, if a few regulations had changed, a few mandates, it would allow us to open the floodgates for shared services, and we could really save a lot of money. And you have to look at consolidation on a case-by-case basis. It shouldn't be a one-size-fits-all, because bigger isn't necessarily better. I mean, some of the big cities, Newark and Hoboken and Jersey City, their costs are astronomical. In fact, I did some research, and Middletown spends $880 per person, whereas a town like Hoboken spends about $2,400 per person. So I don't think you would want to go that route because bigger isn't.
And that's just their municipal operations?
Just municipal.
Wow, and they're in Abbott District too, so They're not even
Right.
paying for their schools. Wow.
Right, and they have half of our population.
Yeah.
They have 1/40th or 1/20th maybe of our land area. You know, I mean, it's different demographics, and they're sort of more urban than we are.
Yeah.
But still, if you side by side, if you look at it, we're doing a lot for the residents by spending that little. We're one of the only municipalities that I was able to find spending less than $1,000 per resident. So $880 per resident, I think we're doing, very well under the circumstances. And that's why you have to look at the big picture on how we're run.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen, other towns that are a lot smaller than us, and their tax rate is much higher. So you have to look at the big picture, not always the bottom line, but percentages, things like that, and really see where you fit in. And I think that's a testament to the administration that we've had. We have some really good department heads. We have a great township administrator, so we have a great team there that really has run the town very well. And we've had people come in and do insurance audits, energy audits, all these things, and they all comment the same way. They say this town is really well run. We have some opportunity to do this or that, but for the most part, we're really on the right track in a lot of ways, and we're going to keep doing that. And I just should mention some of the things that we're going to be doing in the future. One of the things that we've just passed was an ordinance that would allow us to recycle, in addition to newspapers, mixed paper, which now all of a sudden, all of that junk mail that people have been throwing out, if that goes into the recyclables,
Right.
and cardboard boxes and corrugated boxes, all of these things, that will not only help the environment by cutting down on the trash that ends up in a garbage dump, but it would also help revenues, because now I could probably cut a penny off the tax rate just with the credit card applications my daughter gets.
Yeah.
So the potential is unlimited, and we're really going to try and create a nice program around this where everybody can get involved just by a simple thing like throwing that envelope into recycling, where they can help keep property taxes low. And to me, that's the key to the future. Try and get off of property taxes to fund municipal expenditures as much as possible. Look for new sources of revenue. We're looking to put up solar canopies in the train station. It's a huge area. It would be passive because it would serve several purposes. You would keep snow off the parking lot because it would be covered, but you'd be generating electricity. Now, there's a few legislative...
Oh, so it would be on the train station parking lot?
Yes.
And that's owned by the township, not by DOT?
Part New Jersey Transit,
Right.
and part the township. But we have a huge area, and we can do that. There's going to be a few legislative adjustments made because right now the power that you generate can only generate power on that particular lot. So you couldn't run that power to one of the township municipal buildings. And
Technologically you could, but
technologically
but
could.
legally you can't.
Legally you can't. So I'm looking into that now, trying to beat the drum the way I do with a few other things to
Right.
try and get legislation passed. It would really, again, open up this opportunity for us.